The penultimate round at Sandown was a massive success. A new champion was crowned. There were international stars, an unforgettable debut of our new homegrown open wheel series, and action everywhere you turn. Now we're back in South Australia for one last hit out for the year. A chance for some to make a statement ahead of what looks like being an even bigger 2020. New makes have arrived, bolstering the already impressive lineup, plus a super support cast with titles to be decided. The end of season party is about to shift into top gear. This is the final round of the Car Sales TCR Australia Series, live at the Shannons Nationals at Tailem Bend. Just over an hour out of Adelaide on the eastern bank of the mighty Murray River is Tailem Bend. Much of the history from the 1800s has been preserved and beautifully recreated at old Tailem town. 14 streets that are a reminder of a bygone era. A short drive up the road is another pioneering project, albeit modern day. Recently awarded Motorsport Facility of the Year. It is an incredible venue that is thoroughly worthy of the accolade. Hi everybody, Greg Ruston, Aaron Noonan with you live here on SBS through until 4 p.m. Eastern with the final round, our grand final of the Shannons Nationals for 2019. Headlined by S5000, which everyone was talking about last time out at Sandown, and the final two races of Car Sales TCR Australia. We've got a great battle for second too, haven't we?
It's all about the battle for second today. Will Brown's got the job done to win the championship in the Hyundai i30N, but there's 50 grand to win the runner-up prize, 25 grand to finish third in the series, and yesterday Tony D'Alberto put himself into second in the Honda Civic Type R, but he's going to battle Aaron Cameron in the Volkswagen, and also Dylan O'Keefe. The Alpha didn't get to start yesterday's race. They changed the power steering in that case. Starts from the back, and he still could finish runner-up for the season.
Brown, of course, is wanting to go out in style. He started by winning race one here yesterday. He might have put it beyond doubt in points terms, but he wants to finish it, the perfect way, doesn't he?
And he hasn't had a clean sweep all year. He's won more races than anybody else, more podium finishes than anybody else, but no Australian driver has clean swept a weekend of TCR Australia this year. The only driver to do it was Nestor Girolami, the Argentinian driver, in the last round 2 months ago at Sandown. So a little bit of history there waiting for him, and a fun night tonight of the awards evening, that's for sure.
Lots of news to emerge from this pit lane in the wake of a busy Saturday at the Bend Motorsport Park. Some incidents firstly, a couple that won't take part today, but we have an exciting and fast French driver joining the mix from the back of the pack.
Yeah, the Peugeot had some dramas yesterday with some electrics, so the 308 wasn't able to run yesterday, but there was a drama with some contact between Liam McAdams' Audi and Chelsea Angelo in the Holden Astra. That Astra is a banana today. It got absolutely smashed. The car is out for the weekend. The Audi has chassis rail damage. It's out for the weekend. McAdam was given a 40 series point penalty for that contact yesterday. So 2 out, but 2 in, because Dylan O'Keefe is back with the Alpha. He didn't get to start yesterday. And Aurélien Comte, the French driver driving the 308 Peugeot, didn't even get on the track yesterday. They're flowing out parts from France through Peugeot Sport. The car's good to go. He'll start from the back today.
Cars are on the grid. We have 2 races back-to-back to wrap up this exciting championship. What we're going to do is squeeze in a quick break live here on SBS. We'll take you to the grid for all the pre-race build-up right after this.
set for race number 2. Car Sales TCR Australia here at the Bend Motorsport Park. The final round of the first year of this muchly anticipated series. Let's get back down to pit lane with Cameron Van Dungan.
We talk a lot about the new drivers to the field here in the Car Sales TCR series, but let's talk about new teams. Milton Motorsport, Liam Dunn, welcome to the paddock. You're no stranger to the motorsport paddock, but it's first time in this category. It's been a big build though, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a lot of work. It's been a very short time frame, but we've got a lot into the last 5 weeks, and it's been really positive. So looking forward to moving forward and continuing with the category. So
there was a bit of reliability issues with the Subaru when we saw them previously. You've basically rebuilt these things completely, haven't you?
we've done a fair bit of work. Look, it's been a lot of work in a short amount of time. But, definitely moving forward, the reliability seems to be there. We just want to continue focusing on that and building and moving forward. So,
let's talk about the stable of drivers you got alongside you here as well. Bart Moore, he's big in Japan, they tell me. But, no, these guys are both experienced drivers. It must be great to work with them. Yeah,
they're fantastic. Really good guys to work with. Fantastic feedback and really helping the progress of the cars move forward. Fantastic to work with both of them. So,
well, let's have a little chat with both of these guys, shall we? Bart Moore, mate, sports cars you've been racing, but you're an open-wheel driver, raced in British Formula 3 scholarship class many years ago. How do these cars compare with what you've been driving recently?
Yeah, look, they are very different, and I'm sort of adapting to it. But look, the basic principles are the same, and in conjunction with developing the cars, we're actually making pretty good progress.
And we've got Matt Simmons over here as well, mate. Welcome back to Motorsport and racing here in Australia, which you're in Australia, but it's kind of been a bit foreign to you, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit odd one. I've only had the chance to race in Europe, which was fantastic, but never got to race here. So first time getting the chance to have some friends and family, which was amazing to be able to come and watch. So that's been a great part. But yeah, of course, Milton Motorsport and what they've done with these Subaru WRXs, it's been a really good weekend up to this point.
Well done, guys, and good luck today, Liam.
Thanks very much. Cheers. Really appreciate it.
It's one of the new exciting teams that are joining Car Sales TCR Australia this year. The Milton Motorsport team based out of Pakenham in Victoria. Both Liam and former Australian rally champ Eli Evans had a steer of these cars. Rusty in the lead up to this event, and great to have Matt Simmons behind the wheel of a car back in Australia.
And I've seen a couple of interesting faces floating around that garage, Matt. So Alex Somerset, who people that follow motor racing will know from his time at Walkinshaw in a designing capacity, and has worked on cars, I think, from memory, with Lee Holdsworth back in the day. I saw him floating around the garage too. So that's great work by those guys. That interview just a short time ago there. So on board with Tim Brook, talking about another new addition to Car Sales TCR for the final round. This guy has been in a Honda more recently, but this is the Say It. We welcome it to our Australian series. They've got pedigree overseas success, these cars, being run by the Garage One outfit, headed up by Marty Brandt, a guy who's had a lot of experience in the development series, winning all those years ago with Paul Dumbrell, amongst other successes.
Absolutely. He was plagued by fuel pressure issues with that car yesterday. That's Alexandra Whitley. You're watching on screen now the Actron N Air car for Melbourne Performance Centre. She'll start out in position number 10 for race number 2 here at the Bend Motorsport Park today. Clouds have disappeared. Beautiful day here in the low 20s, the temperature, and 2 big races. This guy will start from pole position. Will Brown, who wrapped up the series crown at Sandown with a round to spare, and he's here to party this weekend. A 21-year-old from Toowoomba will start alongside Aaron Cameron here in race number 2. That was his second place finish of the season. Tony D'Alberto starts out of position number 3 alongside Jordan Cox. John Martin starts out of 5 alongside Jason Bride.
Now, Russell Ingall used all of that experience yesterday to work his way from outside the top 10 up to position number 7. James Moffat starting beside him in the Gary Rogers Motorsport Renault Megane. That's row 4. Ian McDougall, shout out to Ian McDougall. That's a great performance on his debut, starting where he finished yesterday, P9. Nice start. Welcome to TCR.
Yeah, he was stoked with that effort yesterday afternoon. Matt Simmons will start out of position number 11 alongside Andre Heimgartner. Barton Moore starts alongside Tim Brook in that Seat Cupra. Give it to Nathan Morecambe. James Allen out of the 8th row. Aurélien Conti, the Frenchman, is in the field today. They've shipped out some parts from France over the weekend to have it arrive here in South Australia. Dylan O'Keefe will start at 18, and Chris Pither engine change that car sees him start from position number 19 for this 14-lap race.
They had been chasing power steering issues with the O'Keefe car. He grabbed pole position yesterday. He's the only driver in the 2019 season to score 2 pole positions. Coming into the Bend Motorsport Park round, there'd been 6 different pole sitters. So he's our first two-time or multi-pole winning driver. But they had dramas with that power steering, so he didn't take up his rightful place at the front of the grid yesterday. He was gutted, left the circuit early. They worked a lot of hours, Barry Hay and the crew there, to get that car back and right. Big thumbs up from Barry Hay there before the Ash Seawood Motorsport team. So watch for him coming through today. Watch for Conti as well in the Peugeot. They got a few laps to suss that car this morning. It sounds magic. He'll be one to watch. A lot of experience at World Touring Car Championship level and European TCR level as well. Winner of the 2017 Euro TCR Cup.
And he's not here to play, Rusty. He is here to win. Expect him to ruffle some feathers from the 17th position of this race. Looking down this very long 1 kilometre main straight. The Bend Motorsport Park, a great crowd yesterday. Another good crowd here witnessing the TCR Australia Series. We'll see the S5000 cars out later on today for their feature race, but that's your front row. Wind has dropped off dramatically since we arrived here this morning. Brown and Cameron, well, the series is wrapped up, but the battle for second is far from done as we pick up the revs and get set for the charge to turn number 1. We get underway, 14 laps. Great start from Moffat already. He's rounded up 2 cars in the Renault Megane, the black and yellow entry. We jump in car with Tony D'Alberto as Aaron Cameron looks to cover him off on the run down to turn number 1. He defends the line towards the first turn. Will Brown will lead us in. John Martin on the outside. They're 3 wide. They can't do this, surely.
Martin gets a bit crossed up coming into that first turn. The rear stepping out on the car. Coming through Jordan Cox. Nice move on the Honda in the Alfa Romeo. Good work. Barton Moore. We heard from he and Matt Simmons prior to the start of the race. Looks like the 777 of Andre Heimgartner falling back into the clutches there of Martin. There's a little bit of a gap to that VW in front of them.
Tim Brook got the wheels on the dirt on the outside of turn number 5. That's McDougall with this from the outside of Pither, who's on the charge from 19th on the grid. That's the second of the Gary Rogers Motorsport prepared Renault Meganes. Won't get the job done there. He'll lose 2 positions. The field hustle for positions on coldish tyres. Will jump in car with Andre Heimgartner through the turn 7, 8, 9 and 10 complex on lap number 1.
You can see the Peugeot, a couple of cars that he's made up some ground. So already Aurelien Comte is on the charge. There he is there. Total sponsorship on the front of the car chasing. I think it's Alexander Whitley, is it, in the second of the VW Golfs. Look at him now trying to prevent the Hyundai in the hands of Nathan Morecambe from coming through, but I think Morecambe will get by, will he?
It's Engel defending Martin. This is the top of turn number 14. Just a bit of a tweak to that corner at turn 13. There is a tyre bundle that was confirmed prior to the start of the race on the inside of 13 to stop the drivers cutting the corner and bringing dirt back onto the circuit, and really shortcutting the corner. Is down to turn number 17 we go. The first lap of race 2 of Car Sales TCR Australia. That's Pither still slicing his way through the field back in car number 33, but Will Brown will lead us to the control line at the end of lap number 1. Keep an eye on that Peugeot as he charges through the field.
How good does the field look? Lots of variety, all sorts of different makes. We now have 10 different makes on the grid, more than 20 cars here for this final round of the series, and it's the man who has put the title beyond doubt, Will Brown, off the back of his win yesterday, continuing that leading form. Brilliant stuff.
That was Moffat almost backing the car in to turn number 1 on Tony D'Alberto. Just ahead of him is Jordan Cox. Keep in mind, D'Alberto still fighting for second in the series. 50 large up for grabs today. It's not a bad effort if he can get it done. He's only got 15 points on Aaron Cameron, who moved up into 3rd spot yesterday. Riding car now with James Moffat on the way down to turn 6. Lap number 2 here at the Bend.
How come you didn't do the big FM voiceover there? 50 large.
I was leaving that for you. Moff, what a charge this has been. Right just behind him in the Task Force Alexandra Whitley with Nathan Morecambe on the back. So Whitley just outside that top 10 at the moment in position number 11, while Pither is up to 14th position. Compte is just ahead in 13th.
It's a nice job by Whitley, who chipped away yesterday and has continued that good run on Sunday here. So far at the Ben Motorsport Park, Aaron Cameron has his eyes on second place in this championship, doing another nice job. Everyone talking, Matt, about how different the cars are on our second visit to the Ben Motorsport Park. We're all still learning in the early part of the season when we visited here. Now, armed with all that knowledge, armed with all that experience, they are loving being back for a second crack at this venue. Setups are different to our first time here.
So too is Aaron Cameron, Rusty, on the charge. He gave Will Brown a big hurry up there at turn 14. And now arriving on the scene is Jordan Cox. Cameron on the defensive and making Jordan Cox go the long way around as Will Brown gets a slight margin, 4/10. Yeah, it's not much of a margin, but it's breathing space. So they come through to complete another lap.
There, Compte and Dylan O'Keefe fighting away. So O'Keefe's not been able to clear the Frenchman.
Busy little battle pack, isn't it, though? Pither to the inside of Alexandra Whitley. Just enough. I mean, Pither was taking no for an answer at turn number 3. Gets the job done. Puts himself now up towards the back of the top 10. He's on the charge to Russell Ingall. Morecambe working him down to turn 6. Here comes the Rondo HMO customer racing car to the inside. And Ingall just gives him enough of an in, but will have the better line. But superior drive from Morecambe gets the job done at the hairpin.
I think Russell was struggling with a bit of understeer yesterday. I wonder if he's battling again here at the moment. They were making wholesale changes to the number 100 Castrol Audi overnight. So we'll get an update on that between races. Remember, we have a really short gap between the two of them where they get a little bit of time to work on the cars before our final race, race 21, to wrap up an amazing inaugural season.
Looked a little easy, didn't it, down at turn 6 for Morecambe down there. So keep an eye on the 100. Meantime, Aaron Cameron, well, he's back in his strong point of the course on the back of Will Brown, the inaugural series champion in car sales TCR Australia. They plunge down the hill through turns 15. They climb the hill at 16 and head their way down to the final set of turns. Brown, Cameron, Cox, D'Alberto and Moffat, the top 5 in the very early stages of race 2.
He'll be a hard customer to get by, but wouldn't Aaron Cameron love to win in that final weekend here of TCR? And that's, you know, great way to lead into 2020. We've got all sorts of exciting things coming up next year. Make sure you check out the official calendar, of course, on the TCR Australia website. Big year, and we're heading to Bathurst.
Going to be incredible, isn't it? Jordan Cox thought about the move. Cameron was straight onto it before the number 7 had a chance. Meantime, here's O'Keefe making the move on Whitley. In car with the man who scored his second Astron Tech pole position yesterday as he dives down the inside at turn number 1 and has a quick glance in the mirror. And we'll get it done here nicely. And Ian McDougall thinking about making a pass at the same point of the circuit.
Compte in the background in that Peugeot. The parts arrived from Peugeot Sport, a brand new wiring loom from France, late yesterday. The crew went and had a meal. They came back at about 11 o'clock last night, worked through to 1:30 a.m. replacing that wiring loom, and they got a handful of laps to ensure that the car was sorted today. Big thumbs up this morning. They thought it was all right. Will be interesting to get their thoughts, but it's all learning. Now they've got to try and learn the track. They've had hardly any running time, and they started from the back of the grid.
And past cars and drivers that he's not familiar with. And now changing the lead at the front here with Aaron Cameron. So that's happened, coming through the backside of the circuit. So the Victorian gets ahead of the man from Toowoomba. And now he'll do the chasing aboard car number 30.
What a great story. Aaron Cameron leading in the VW Golf. It falls in that same garage, that same group from Melbourne Performance Centre. This young guy's had karting experience. He's been wandering yesterday up and down the garages after the race to see what everyone was up to, and I saw him. He was wide-eyed when he got to Renault because there were some big things work-wise happening there with an engine change. Ah, that's the story. So Brown makes a blue. Look at that for a save. Great work by Will Brown. But that was all the opportunity Aaron Cameron needed.
Massive recovery from Will Brown to keep that car not only on the track but in second position. Oh no! Dylan O'Keefe, can you believe this?
There's a drama with the left front there. Something didn't look right with the left front.
And that stopped just at the top here at between turn 14 and 15. As we keep an eye on D'Alberto with Moffat squirming under brakes in the Renault Megane. We join him at the right time as he climbs the curbs. Did he get it done? I would say yes.
Now remember, all of these things we're just watching affect the fight for second in the championship. Tony D'Alberto was second in the points coming into today's two races. So Moff getting by because Cameron is fighting for second as well. Cameron leads the race. That's all really positive stuff for Aaron Cameron. And the other guy in the mix was Dylan O'Keefe. He lost a huge amount of points yesterday. Now a DNF by the looks of it today. What a blow for the Alfa Romeo driver. They'll be gutted at Ash Seawood Motorsport.
And he's got a bit of a margin back to Morecambe overall on the points, but that might shake it up for the final race today. Aaron Cameron continues to lead. We're in car with Tony D'Alberto as he chases the Renault Megane that just passed him at the bottom of turn number 1. You can feel the intensity in race number 2. It's stepped up from yesterday, hasn't it?
Most definitely. Who's buying a ticket to the final race of the weekend as well? D'Alberto looks in the mirrors. He knows that Moff's fast and he's behind him. Let's get an update from the lane, Cam.
Yeah, I've got Barry Hay here. Dylan O'Keefe, mate, he was battling for the championship early in the year, but it's just all gone wrong.
Mate, we can't take a trick this weekend, so we finally got the rack situation under control. 4 of us were on it till late last night, again early this morning. That's sorted. He's gone charging out there, and all of a sudden he's just said, flat tyre. 30 seconds later, no, I got no drive. So, mate, I can't explain it these days. Drivers don't tell you a whole lot. That's why they're drivers. So we just got to hang in there, but we're just not winning this weekend. It's just not our day.
Thanks, Baz. There's always next year.
Yeah, there is. No green on a race car. Thank you.
He is an ultra-professional, very competitive guy. Dylan O'Keefe, I mean, he'll be speechless. Cameron leads the way. That's the story here. Aaron Cameron from Will Brown. Jordan Cox, that's another great story, Matt, sitting in third position. Moffat is ahead of Tony D'Alberto. We said before, the more Tony slips back, he's got to hold on to that position, the more it hurts his fight for second in the series. So lots to unfold before our final race of 2019 coming up very soon.
And looking at the live points right now to give D'Alberto 1 point clear at this point. But it's a long way to play out. I'm definitely not going to curse any of these drivers. That's been following me for 20 years. Heimgartner and Pither arguing over 9th and 10th position down to turn number 6 as we head towards the halfway home lap. In race 2 of car sales TCR Australia here at the Bend Motorsport Park on a postcard kind of day here in South Australia.
1 minute 58.00. Fastest lap of the race so far belongs to Aaron Cameron. Pither looks racy here after all that work overnight. They were on the tools, the pair of them. I walked in there and James Moffat was working. They had the engine out of Pither's car and so was Chris. I joked with Chris and I said, hey, do they only let you kind of do the basic stuff, no serious sort of mechanical stuff? He said, no, I've got a fitter and turning background. He knows exactly what he's doing.
He loves it. He's always around the pit paddock till late in the evening. And now he's rewarding that team with a run from 19th up into 10th position. It's across the hill at turn 13. He takes it nice and easy now, that tyre bundle on the right-hand side. There's John Martin in car 24. The Wall Racing Honda Civic with Nathan Morecambe just behind here. These guys 7th and 8th on the circuit as they climb the hill towards the final set of turns here. Lap 6 of 14.
They were worried about curb hopping yesterday at around turn 13. In an earlier race today, they moved some tyre bundles to that part of the circuit, and our eagle-eyed cameraman Dave Lovell over there was straight onto it. And prior to the race, Alex Davison went out for a sighting look, our driving standards advisor, to check things out. There is word, potentially, from race control about 2 blocking warnings for Aaron Cameron. So we'll keep an eye on that story for you. If he cops another one, that could be disastrous. Noons?
Boys, we just saw a shot before of Jason Bright in the Task Force Volkswagen Golf GTI. I popped into their garage this morning and there was heavy work going on the brake system of that car. Bright said that in yesterday's race he had no straight line speed at all because there was some form of a brake issue locking on in some way, shape or form in the system, sucking him of that straight line speed. He looks far more competitive today, so you've got to reckon the car 8's not got the brakes on it today. It's got the straight line speed going again.
It's running in sixth position now as Morecambe to the inside of Martin, thanks to Aaron Noonan down in pit lane. So Morecambe sets up John Martin and closes the door nicely. Textbook move there at the hairpin.
I reckon the heart rate was up there too. It looked like the Hyundai was dancing. He was maxed out under brakes. One of those calls where you go, will I, won't I, will I, won't I? And he went, yep, I'm going to send it. Look at him, he sends it in here. We typically get the left rear kicking up a bit in this corner anyway. Pretty close to being maxed out for Nathan Morecambe. Nice job, gets the move done on John Martin.
He puts himself up into 7th position now. Aaron Cameron has the lead, 1.92 seconds. Back to Will Brown and Jordan Cox.
Oh, Brown gets sideways. That hurts him. Jordan Cox, opportunity here on the outside. Not ideally placed for the left-hander, but Jordan senses an opportunity, and so does James Moffat. Brown's battling a little bit here. Now, when they swing up onto the main straight this time by, we'll keep an eye out. They're talking about the bad sportsmanship flag for Aaron Cameron. So, Will's got his hands full. Let's go to the lane quickly, Cam.
Yeah, confirmed he has seen the bad sportsman flag. That is Aaron Cameron. They've also shown or given the first warning to John Martin for blocking.
Wow. So they're busy next door here today at race control as Moffat. I think he's trying to wheel the dirt out at the same time. So they've moved the problem from 13 and now they're using the inside of the corner at the final turn here at the Bend Motorsport Park. Well, the battle for second and third is on. Aaron Cameron, wow, it's out to nearly 4 seconds.
What about the youngsters up in front in this game? Aaron Cameron, champion-elect, Will Brown, Jordan Cox. We call him the internet sensation. He's done some great things with front-wheel drive cars before. It's been terrific to see that guy join our sport mid-season, and he's done, did it with immediate impact.
It was a welcome addition, that's for sure. One of the great characters of the pit paddock as well. Chris Pither. I just had flashbacks to the British touring car days. We jumped in car with Andre Heimgartner then, seeing the Renault sweeping across the screen like that. It was incredible to watch.
We gave some grief. You'll see the story a little bit later to our colleague Cameron Vanderducken, who had the chance to drive one of these Renaults. Jordan said to him just before he went out, he goes, oh, no, mate, heaps of grip. You'll be right. Just send it. I love it. I love it.
It's a great piece coming up later today. This 3-hour coverage today will capture the second race of car sales, TCR Australia, and the feature race of the big open wheelers, the S5000s are here at the Bend Motorsport Park, and they've been wowing crowds here since Friday. Looking forward to the finale of that series before a big season 2020.
Most definitely. This series, of course, brings together all kinds of makes and marks, very tightly, strictly controlled, and what you see here is indicative of the TCR classes that compete in all sorts of different nations worldwide. We run a controlled Michelin tyre, which has done us, the guys from Michelin have done a mighty job right throughout the year. But they are a tricky car to drive, Matt. They're a cost-effective form of racing, but to get your hands around these front-wheel drive cars is not an easy thing to do.
Which we saw in qualifying in the first couple of rounds this year, notably at Phillip Island, where cars were going off at the first turn with just not enough tyre temp up. It was a different time of the year as well with those Arctic-like conditions, but looks like the field have got it together now at the end of the season. We stay in car with James Moffat in 4th position. Fastest lap of the race to Aaron Cameron, 1:57.7 on the 7th lap of the race. His gap is 4.5 seconds. He's already starting to pull the curtains down with 6 laps to go.
Look at the behaviour of the Alfa Romeo up in front. Now, Brown's had a reset here. Will Brown, who looked like he was in a bit of trouble a few laps ago, has had a reset, has a couple of car lengths now over Jordan Cox, who you can see through the front window there a moment ago of James Moffat, we go back to Tony D'Alberto, position number 5. Remember, we're talking about the fight for second in the championship. D'Alberto, on current form, 1 point. He would hold on to second in the championship by 1 point with 1 race remaining in our inaugural year.
Came in with 15 at the start of the race between he and Cameron, who's got the lead of this race. Nathan Morecambe is the quickest car on the circuit at the moment in 7th position, the second of the HMO Customer Racing prepared Hyundai i30s. Lap 9 of 14 here at the Bend Motorsport Park. Like we mentioned, a 30-minute gap between this race and the season-ending race of Car Sales TCR Australia here today at the Bend Motorsport Park. Brown has just got a bit of an advantage now on Jordan Cox.
That sounds like a lot. It's not. It is frantic, busy. Stay with us, whatever you do, through that period, because so much happens in the pit lane. And typically we've seen things that affect the series in some way. Major things actually happen in that period with people either struggling to make the deadline or just getting through.
Absolutely. Moff on the back of Jordan Cox. Behind him, Tony D'Alberto needs a position here. It's only 1 point now for the battle for second. Like we said, $50,000 up for grabs for second place, $25,000 for third. Yeah, still good money, but I'd rather go home with 50.
Look at the advantage that Cameron has eked out. This will be huge for this young man's career to take a victory in the final round of the season. In the background, I think that's McDougall going off in the final turn. Gets it back on the black stuff in the Audi. He's behind Aurelian Comte. And then James Allen up ahead of him too. Another guy that we should make the point about joining the championship in an Alfa Romeo. He's currently position 13.
But Comte has sort of stopped here, hasn't he? Not literally. He's 14th. He went with Chris Pither at the start. Pither is now in 8th position. So the Frenchman coming to terms with this 4.95 kilometre circuit at the Bend Motorsport Park, but sits in 14th, about 2.5 seconds behind James Allen.
There'll be a few people with their chest out because we've had some great additions to TCR this year with internationals coming out to help us benchmark, our drivers benchmark themselves, if you like. He hasn't been able to make the ground, so we'll chase that Peugeot story for you. We know how strong he is as a competitor. Coming to terms with the Bend Motorsport Park for the first time. What will he be like in the final race of the weekend? Here's Alexander Whitley. We jump from one Kiwi to another. Andre Heimgartner in the Astra, car 777, currently position number 9.
The third car in that incident yesterday, pretty much at turn 17, that wiped out Liam McAdam and Chelsea Angelo, who's nursing a very sore arm after that big crash at turn 17 in the Dare Ice Coffee entry yesterday afternoon. Such a tough one because she charged all the way up from 15th into the top 10. Will Brown, turn 17, it's almost like a hairpin. Brings him back down to 17 and through this corner dictates your pace down the 1 kilometre straight. 4.9 seconds is the gap still between Cameron and Will Brown, who's got the championship wrapped up. Yeah, he'd like to clean sweep the weekend, but Aaron Cameron, well, he'd love a race victory. More dust being kicked up at the final turn, and that'll be Chris Pither in the second of the Renaults. And now Barton Moore comes to a stop. The Mildun Motorsport prepared Subaru has come to a stop.
How about the advantage that Cameron enjoys? 5.4 seconds, and he has the fastest lap of the race, so 1 minute 57.75. Watching John Martin battling the VW Golf. A little bit of contact between the pair of them there as they came into that first turn.
And Russell Engel got the two for one down there. Just zipped on by in the Castrol Audi, so puts Engel up into position 10 now, who we thought was going to be just a one-off appearance for the two-time Bathurst 1000 champion and former Supercars champ, but it's been rolling up to races all season long as Whitley makes a move on John Martin at the turn 6 hairpin. 3 laps to go at the end of this.
Less track time than his teammate in Tony D'Alberto has hurt John Martin a little bit. They found an engine issue at Wall Racing there on Friday. They had to change it in the Honda Civic Type R. Here's the replay of the incident. So the pair of them have a little bit of contact. Russell says, thanks, that's all I need. I'll take that. And the proud South Aussie, who now resides in Queensland, is through. They kept it going, those two, didn't they?
Can you imagine? Engel would have just been laughing going through the corner. A wry smile, and he moves up into position number 10. Meantime, Jordan Cox is engaging in the battle with Will Brown. They'll argue over second and third now because it's 5.5 seconds between Aaron Cameron. Speaking of Cameron, here he is in pit lane.
Just to close the loop on that Subaru, guys, the fuel pressure warning came on. Team said, shut it down, please, but shut it down.
Okay. Let's hope that that's something that can be repaired, addressed, fixed for the final one of the year. Race 21 of 21 coming up very soon. Plus all the activity from pit lane live as it unfolds in our little window between the races. That's the great thing about Sunday competition in car sales TCR Australia. Back-to-back racing, little bit of time to work on the cars in between, and we'll cover it all for you. Moffat trying to sneak that Renault Megane into the top three. Remember, he had pole position on our last visit here earlier in the year, and it was off the back of an incident for the car on Friday. They had to work Gary Rogers Motorsport late into the night, buy some perspex from the local Bunnings to replace the rear window. It was an awesome story. And as I said before, Moff was on the tools again yesterday. He's hustling here. Podium at the Sandown 500 just a week ago.
Just one big roller coaster of turns around through 8, 9 and 10. Turn number 11, and then a change of direction through 12, and a short little straight that takes us uphill to turn 13. You should better see the tyre bundle on the right-hand side as we go through the corner, and there it is, which have kept the drivers well and truly away. I wonder if they'll look at turn 18 maybe. That's been really attacked in this race. Moffat close to the back of Jordan Cox again.
I reckon there was a little puff of smoke from the left rear of Cox's car before. Maybe just a little brake lock, who knows? Moff senses, doesn't he? Time running out naturally. But is there just that little window of opportunity he can create through pressure to pick up that third place? Back with Heimgartner now.
That's Engel ahead. He'll have to earn this one, Andre. Russell Engel, one of the hardest guys to pass.
That's clearly just happened, has it? Because
yes,
the timing's not updated yet. So good work by Russell Engel. 6.2 seconds now, Matt. Aaron Cameron has checked out. Someone's kicked up a huge amount of dust at the final turn here at the Bend Motorsport Park. It's Cameron from Will Brown and Jordan Cox. They're your top three. Drifting back here, Jason Bright battling away with Chris Pither. That is for 7th place. Then Engel and Heimgartner back on the 777 Astra now.
Stays with the Castrol Audi just ahead. Turn number 1, change of direction into turn number 2. And again into turn number 3. Staying car with car 777, Andre Heimgartner, who qualified on the front row for the last 2 rounds, but wasn't really there in qualifying yesterday. He stays with Russell Engel, who's having a great day out here today. Position number 9 for the Enforcer. Down the turn 6 hairpin. 1.5 laps to go. Tony D'Alberto stays in 5th position, and 1 point still separates he and Aaron Cameron for 2nd in the overall honours. Let's go back down to the pits.
Matt, there's so many experienced faces and names in this pit lane who are working with the drivers here in the Car Sales TCR Australia Series. On screen there, and the number 2 on his arm is Blake Smith. He's race engineering Aaron Cameron this weekend. Blake was the data engineer when James Courtney won the Supercars Championship with DJR in 2010. He's been a winner with Van Gisbergen at Techno and Garth Tander at the Holden Racing team at Walkinshaws. They've got a young star here at Melbourne Performance Centre who's promised all year to get this sort of a result. He's nearly home now, but really experienced minds in here who are managing some of these young drivers who are showing what they can do in TCR today.
Yeah, great stuff, Noons. There's a number of minds and good operators behind the scenes like that in Car Sales TCR Australia. Great point and Cameron has immersed himself in it throughout the year. He's relished the opportunity to be a part of this. What a terrific story. We're not done yet. Look at this. Through that final turn, Tony D'Alberto hanging on to 5th place. He doesn't want to lose another spot. At the moment, he holds down 2nd on the points ladder, but only by 1 point going into the final race. Morecambe plays the modern day enforcer, the new enforcer. Flashes the lights at D'Alberto.
Cheeky, but there's nothing like a bit of gamesmanship on the final lap. If he was to make the pass, it would put Aaron Cameron into the lead by 1 point going into the final race. So this is a critical moment on the final lap. Aaron Cameron, 6.5 seconds down the road to Will Brown. Well, we keep an eye on D'Alberto and Morecambe. Morecambe's been supreme down here at turn number 6. Again, just pulls up that Hyundai i30 with the left rear dancing. Meantime, Jordan Cox is back with Will Brown. Where do you look?
There's action everywhere, and they're emerging stars in Australian motorsport at the front. Famous names. Moffat eyeing up that final spot in the top 3. So we go back to D'Alberto and Nathan Morecambe. That's a heck of an incentive, isn't it? $50,000 cash.
More than an incentive, isn't it?
Well, it's clearly worked. Look at the way that Cameron has bolted. 6.57 seconds he leads by from Will Brown. Here we go, back with Moff now.
Well, time is running out. Lock up from the front. Was that enough to open? No, it won't be. We'll stay in car with Moffat down the bottom of the hill here. Through turn 15. Across at 16. But Aaron Cameron looking good here for his first ever victory.
What a great story for this youngster, as we said, has come through karting. We wondered what sort of talent he had. The team were in, no doubt about it. Aaron Cameron gets the win in car sales TCR Australia and eyes up 2nd place in the championship. He can do no more than that, Matt. That's the perfect play.
And what a result. We stay with Moffat at the finish of this race. He'll get home for 4th position. Misses out on the podium, but for Jordan Cox, that's another great result for the number 7 car. Gives himself another podium result to back up that race 1 effort at Sandown. Jason Bright crossing the line for a top 10 result with Chris Pither. Probably the mover and shaker of that race. From position 19, finishes in 8th position. Russell Ingall just ahead, and Andre Heimgartner completing your top 10 here today in race number 2. But there is our 8th different winner of the season. From 19 races, give it to Aaron Cameron by a big margin. Not the biggest of the season, the 2nd biggest of the season.
He's got a bright, infectious smile. It'll be beaming when he steps from the car. Well done, Aaron Cameron, and everybody there at Melbourne Performance Centre. The Volkswagen Golf GTI takes it out from our inaugural champion, Will Brown. Jordan Cox rounds out the top 3. The final race of the year. The stage is set. We've got all the action in between time, Matt, of the build-up to that. But look at the names, the great mixture. Young, old, Bathurst winners in there, you name it. It's tremendous.
And some internationals as well, no doubt about that. John Martin 11th, James Allen 12th, ahead of Alexandra Whitley. Aurélien Comte, the Frenchman, finished in 14th position. Watch for him in the 2nd race in about 30 minutes' time. Ian McDougall went off the track at the final turn. He got home for 15th. Tim Brook got the car home, so big tick for the Garage 1 team. Matt Simmons 17th, and Moyer and O'Keefe out of this race.
Some highlights for you of race 20 of the year. Will Brown made a beautiful start. Going on the cold tyres early on. This was the heartbreaking stuff. I thought there was something wrong with that left front. We'll get clarification on that, but heartbreak for Dylan O'Keefe.
Hunks of metal underneath that car, bouncing down the road as he pulled that car up. We saw Nathan Morecambe make that move down at turn number 6. This was Jordan Cox showing his nose to Will Brown, and this was Martin on Alexandra Whitley, and Russell Ingall says yoink and takes the pass, gets the 2 for 1 down there at turn 1.
Checkered flag shown to Aaron Cameron, winner in car sales TCR Australia. Our variety of makes, our variety of winners. The story continues with 1 race to go in 2019.
And the gap, first, second to third now, is just 1 point after all of that. is going to be a pretty big moment for this young guy, Noons. Aaron Cameron stepping out of car number 2, our 8th different winner in Car Sales TCR Australia.
What a great variety we've had this year, Matt, in the inaugural year of Car Sales TCR Australia. The Melbourne Performance Centre team are here as Aaron Cameron steps out. He is the latest new winner on the race list this year. And boy, oh boy, this might be a 50 grand win. If he can finish runner-up in the title, that win has put him in the absolute box seat to get there before the final race. We'll dive on in here to have a chat to our first-time race winner. Aaron Cameron, you have worked so hard for this. Have a winner's trophy. You're a race winner in the Car Sales TCR Australia Series. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. It was absolutely mega. So, yeah, just worked away at it all year, and it's awesome to get the W. Second last race of the year. So yeah, just can't thank the guys at MPC enough for their hard work, and yeah, one more to go.
Were you surprised at how much you won that race by in the end?
Yes, a little bit. Yeah, I saw Will was struggling at the start of the race with just general car pace, and so was I. The track's way different to yesterday. I had a pretty big moment around the fast right. So yeah, we'll try and tune up for this one and pull away again maybe, but we'll see what happens.
The boys in the box have done the really quick numbers. 1 point, D'Alberto to Cameron, 50 grand runner-up prize on the line. Gee, it's all to play for.
Yes, it is. 1 point. Thank you for that. We were going to do some calculations ourselves, but yeah, we know what we have to do now. So yeah, I'd rather probably get 50 grand than one of these ones maybe, but we'll play it safe.
Congratulations, well done.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
We'll head to the runner-up in Will Brown, the champ-elect. Well, another podium, another trophy. It's not a W, but it's great points. But points don't matter right now because you've won the series, so you need to be winning races.
Yeah, I'm trying to win races, but it was a bit of a hectic race. It was good fun. I had a massive moment down through the triple ride. I don't know how I even held on to it, but that was awesome, and Aaron got me, and he was really fast. So congratulations to him for getting his first win. That's great. He's done a great job all year.
Where was he fast compared to you?
Everywhere.
That's a problem.
That is an issue for the next one, but I'm not sure. He might have just got the pressures wrong because the car felt pretty average from the start. So have another crack in the next one.
All right, have a trophy. There you are. P2 in race 2 of the weekend. We'll head down to position number 3, Jordan Cox in the Gary Rogers Motorsport Alfa Romeo. Hey, this was the place where you turned up earlier on in the year in the TCR series, and you end up on the podium. You're really clicking with this place.
Yeah, I like this place. It suits my style. It's fast and flowing, and I like it. So that was a hairy race. It was hot out there. The other boys should have ended rallycross, I think. So that was pretty good. But anyway, with third place, real happy with that. Yeah.
Plenty of pressure from your teammate James Moffat in the Renault Megane from GRM. Will up in front there. It looked really tight. There was nothing between those 3 cars, all completely different types of cars.
Absolutely, and every car's got their strengths and weaknesses at different parts of the track, so which made it exciting. So yeah, I saw Moffat coming. I thought, oh, what's going to go on here? But no, it ended up being pretty good. So yeah, real happy.
Hey, another podium finish for you. Have a trophy. P3, well done, Jordan Cox.
Thank you guys. Cheers. Be on the next one.
Tony D'Alberto just come into the garage. You hold on to second place in this series by 1 point now. A front right puncher as well. It probably happened at the right time because you've still got a race to go.
Yeah, we finished the race and got a puncture at the end there, but tell you what, we've got our hands tied behind our back here. We're giving it everything. The car's handling really good, but we just get passed by about 4 car lengths down the front straight, so I don't know how that works.
So just one last question for you then, Tony. The pressure is on for this second place in this series. I know you want to get it done at the moment. What do you need? What's missing in the car at the moment? You're saying you're down on power?
Well, the power for the Honda is good. It's just questionable in some others, to be honest, because there's no way we can be that slow on a straight line. Like, I'm absolute sitting duck. Car's handling really good, so just have to give it everything we've got in the last race and see if we can try and claw back some time. But you can't miraculously give it some straight line handling, can you?
All right, thanks, TD.
Bit of a question mark there from Tony D'Alberto relative to rivals. We go back to the top 3, some happy faces there. We need a commercial break. Stick around, whatever you do. Lots to come here live this afternoon on SBS. Race 2 just around the corner, and S5000 as well. Don't go anywhere.